welcome back to my channel. So as promised, I will be doing, oh, I didn't even introduce myself, child. Okay, for those of you who are new here, I'm Michaela, and I'm also a pathomedical student. Today, I will just be sharing some anatomy, post-anatomy thoughts. We just finished up a 4-week block of MSK, aka the musculoskeletal system. So a lot of content, a lot of material, and full disclaimer, my first time having a graded anatomy class was in medical school. If I were to provide any advice for the pre-med, it would be take as many classes as you can to, if you're like really about that pre-med life, like you know that you plan to go into medicine and nothing's going to change your mind, please do yourself a favor and try to expose yourself early on with different topics if you can. Like I'm a first generation medical student, so I quite literally did not know what I was getting myself into prior to medical school, but it might just be beneficial for you to expose yourself to different topics that will just really help you out in medical school. Like, don't get me wrong, the reason why I'm making this video is because anybody can do it, anybody can make your way through it, but I will say that I definitely noticed a difference between people who had prior anatomy experience versus those of us who had never seen what what is going on. Literally have never heard supraspinatus, infraspinatus before I took anatomy, so like, anyway, so that is why I'm making this video, just to provide some type of insight. I wish I could make this video a lot more interactive, like dazzles, all this stuff, but I just don't have the time for that. So we're just having a casual conversation, me and you. For these next couple of minutes, we're locked in, we're talking about anatomy. I'm literally just like, I could be sitting right next to you right now telling you what this term is like, what to expect, and how to survive. So first things first, I want to say that anatomy is not hard. Anatomy just has a language barrier. And you learn the language, you will be fine. And I am so serious about that. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Like, yes, you have to study. Yes, you have to do repetition with the terms and stuff. But you learn the language, you'll be just fine. And because medical school is so fast paced, unfortunately, we had to learn the language very quickly. So I initially really struggled the first couple of days because I just quite literally didn't know like what things meant. Like, if I'm adducting, I'm coming closer to the body. If I'm abducting, I'm going away from the body. You know what I'm saying? If you learn those basic terms early on, it would save you a lot of time. And also, you get to this place where at least for me specifically, like I like to recognize patterns. I like to recognize, streamline approaches to thinking. Like, if something doesn't require you to go all around the world to figure it out, don't do it. Take the highway. And what I mean by that is chunk your information. We started off by learning the upper body, which means like the first half of the course was simply just the arms, the upper body. So all these things that we had to learn. So it's a lot of terms. I felt like learning the upper body was a lot more challenging than the lower body. But a part of pattern recognition is like learning how can I chunk this information, right? So you can, at least for me, what really helped was chunking the information based off what a muscle does. So like, for example, the rotator cuff muscles. We all know that, well, not we all know, let me not say that. Okay, so when you get to anatomy, you'll learn that there are a lot of different origins and insertions, like where a muscle originates, where it ends, and that will pretty much tell you like what that muscle does. Like, a prime example that I can give is if you're talking about your anterior, and I'm exposing you to these terms now, so like you get used to it. If you're talking about your anterior body, which is simply just the front side of your body, this rule doesn't apply all the time, but in most cases, the anterior of your body is going to flex. And flexing just means like coming in. And I feel like I popped something right then and there, but anyway, child. And if it's on your posterior side, which is the back side of your body, it's going to extend. The most practical way, and like literally make it practical to you, a practical way to learn this is like, if I am pushing back, I am extending. If I'm coming forward, I am flexing. You know, so like when you learn just like different patterns with like what muscles are doing, do not stress yourself out. Chunk that material. Just compartmentalize it in your brain and be like, oh, if I'm talking about this, sorry, I got a message. If I'm talking about this side of my body, if I'm talking about the lateral side, which is the side, if I'm doing this, what am I doing? And if that is doing that action, which muscles are involved, you know? So chunk your muscles. It will save you a lot of time and energy. Secondly, I don't know what stage you are in life if you're watching this video. What I did for my lectures, and I wish I can um, show like a screen recording or something, but I took notes for every single lecture. But I do not take written notes like I'm writing notes as the professor is talking anymore. I only write notes if I'm like doing a brain dump or I need to see something on paper, write something out. And actually, let me show y'all. Like I have a whiteboard. Um, so this is what I mean by like this is the only time y'all would see me take notes. Okay, I don't know. I cannot straighten that. So I'm telling y'all, we yapping it up right now. Okay, so y'all. Anyway, so I don't take notes. Like I literally just take PowerPoint slides and I write on them, and I will just make it useful for me. So I will highly, 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 highly recommend looking at as many pictures as you can in order for it to like really get ingrained. Like for me, once I was able to see a muscle in my head, like where it was coming from, it just made learning it a lot more easier or yeah, better. It just made it better. And if you have the opportunity to have a cadaver lab, that will be even better. I know for a fact that I was able to learn things faster because I could see it, I could touch it, I could dissect it, I could see where it's going. Um, so that really helped me. And if you are in that stage where you don't have access to a cadaver, there are a lot of let me be specific. There are paid resources and then there are free resources. I did take advantage of one paid resource, and I'm not sponsored, okay? Like I am not, if you want to check this resource out, completely up to you, but I use bootcamp. A lot of medical students will talk about that, but I personally really like bootcamp for more gross anatomy type things, and they also have a lot of histology on there. So if you have the means to do it, I really really enjoyed boot camp. Now some other free resources that I used were Texas Tech. Um, and you can literally just like look up some of their anatomy questions. Their anatomy questions are great. It really really tests, and I feel like if you can do well on Texas Tech questions, then you're pretty good. Like you really have a good understanding of what's occurring, because it's really application based, which at least for us that was our exam. Like we had to really apply what we were learning. So I really enjoyed Texas Tech. I enjoyed VH Dissector, which is where like you can it's like mini cadavers, and they will just tag something and you can just guess, or not guess, but you know have yeah, guess. You could guess what it is, but once you get to that place where you know what it is, it really just tests your knowledge. um so Texas Tech, VH Dissector, Michigan Blue Link. Actually, I do have my research up there. Yeah, those were pretty much my gold standards. Like if I were to do something, it was going to be a Texas Tech question. If I didn't always use VHI sector, but I did enjoy having it if I didn't want to go to the lab, because going to the lab can be a lot. So, um, yeah. So those were some of the resources that I used. But if you were to use a paid resources, I did enjoy having bootcamp as well. So that is in terms of resources like testing your knowledge. Really utilize office hours if your professors have them. And another gold standard for me was talking it out with my classmates. Like, a couple of our classmates would get together before the exam, and we would just be like, "Hey, if this were to happen, what will happen to this?" Or say this patient comes in, they present with this, and they have all these symptoms, and we would just like quiz each other on like, but it's very helpful to have somebody there to like walk you through that, and also to check you when you're wrong, and also to give you encouragement when you're correct. anatomy for me, I was like, wow, like I really, really, really did enjoy anatomy. Like, as crazy as it sounds, I loved learning about the human body. I loved learning what goes, like if something were to go wrong, what's happening. Like if this nerve is messed up, how is that affecting your muscles? How is that impacting your way of being? So I really, 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 really enjoyed that. But I really do encourage you to, have a study group if you can, to talk through these things, because if you are taking anatomy to become a physician, you will most likely, you are 1,000% going to be working with people. So start now, and when you're in your study groups, say like, hey, we have this clinical case and we have to solve it out. So that's just a couple of nuggets that I really, really recommend. So this one is, some people don't like it, other people do, but I personally am an Anki stan. Anki, if you don't know what Anki is, it's basically like in undergrad, I loved Quizlet. I'm just a flashcard girly. Okay, I love me a good flashcard set. So in undergrad, it was Quizlet. In medical school, it's been Quizlet, and it's oh, hold on, I think I mixed it up. In undergrad, it was Quizlet. In medical school, it's been Anki. Now, I used to be an Anki hater. I'm not gonna lie. People, yes, like it's just one of those things where it's like you either love it or you don't. And I didn't like it for a very, very long time. But once I understood how to use it, and I also have an Anki remote, man, give me them cards, eat them up. I love me a good Anki set. So I enjoy doing Anki to reinforce the knowledge. Like, I highly do not recommend Anki to learn things, but I highly recommend it to reinforce things. So I really, really enjoyed that. Not everybody likes it, and not, you can most definitely survive MSK without Anki, but for me, I feel like it really, really got the information like sealed long term, not just short term. So that is another thing that I used. But another thing I want to caution you about is resource overload. And that is why I'm trying not to share too much, because some things you do just have to live. Like, babes, I can hold your hand as much as you allow, or like I can try to provide this and that, but you have to walk the walk yourself. You have to live it yourself, and you have to realize what works for you. I'm simply just providing insights that worked for me, as someone that had never did anatomy and did decent in the class. So please, please live, laugh, love. Live it for yourself. But do know that if there's any specific questions that you have, that is why I'm here. And I am sharing insights that, while they're fresh in my mind, because we start a new block tomorrow and MSK is behind me. Okay, it is behind me until I have to worry about boards. Or I need it for, like, of course, it never leaves. Like, it's always going to keep coming up. But I'm talking about nitty gritty, how I study for the anatomy class. Like, that is behind me. And we thank God. We thank the Lord, because, anyway, I'm going on a tangent. So I think I pretty much have shared a lot of what I wanted to talk about. So we talked about resources, we talked about Anki, and we've talked about application. Really, 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 really just have a system that you have no choice but to succeed. Like, for me, like, one of the things that I am really, really big on is systems and routines. Like, if I were to input something in a system, I should get a similar result every single time. And that's how you should go about your studying. Like, yes, there are going to be some blocks you have to study things differently, but in terms of like how you're studying and like how you're retaining, you should have some type of rhythm that speaks to you. And everybody's going to have a different rhythm, but I know with like my study system that I am building, and I'm like tweaking, fine tuning every single term. I'm like, if I put this in, I should be somewhere in this region by the time an exam comes up or something of that nature. Not everything goes like that, but really, really focus more so on system building and not just like temporary quick fixes or like cramming. And one thing I will say is like just giving reflections of MSK. Our very first quiz I did not do well on, because I like really started to second guess myself in the middle of the quiz, and I just changed so many of my answers. and I kind of went into a panic mode, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm just not learning. It wasn't that I wasn't learning, it was just I wasn't really trusting myself. And then our following quiz, it wasn't even really a quiz, it was a practical, so it wasn't multiple choice, it was simply an image. Well, not even an image, something was tagged on a cadaver and we had to know what it is. So I didn't have time to rationalize, I didn't have time to, like, really second guess myself, and I did amazing on that practical. So what I'm saying is to, like, really, really trust yourself. Really build a system that allows for repetition and application, because that is how you get it from just learning it to, like, really, really applying it. Um, so yeah. After that initial hiccup, I started to revert back into my old study habits. Like, I'm talking about undergrad study habits, where I would, like, stay up all hours of the night and cram. But you cannot do that in medical school. Or, like, I can't speak to other graduate programs, but I know for a fact in medical school, cramming is not the way to go. Cramming is, at least for me, cramming does not work. And I used to be a master crammer. Okay, this is coming from someone who was not new to this but true to this, and I'm telling you, it does not work in medical school. So there is a kind of it's not really, I feel like medical school, everything just happens so fast, so it kind of feels like you're always cramming. But if you go back and you, like, go, like, just keep going back for repetition, things just become a lot more smoother, instead of just trying to memorize things all at once, because that's not very sustainable. It'll be just fine. Like, I am rooting for anybody who decides to go on a path like this, because it's not easy, but it is doable. And as I learn things, I will most definitely share them. So I hope this video was helpful. If there are any more specific questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments or reach out to me personally. I'll be more than happy to answer. If you were to reach out to me personally, give me some time, okay? Because I don't always check my messages, but I will get back to you when I can. So have a great day, everyone. I hope this video was useful and you got some nuggets and gems out of this. I know it was kind of all over the place, but like I said, this was just a conversation. So if you got something out of it, great. If you didn't, sorry, but thanks for tuning in anyway. I will be spending the rest of the night having a ball on my couch because I'm tired. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I will see you in the next video. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it.